I'm losing faith so quickly in like the regular general population, normal, average person. So quickly, like.
What to think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let.
Thank you for the resubscription. Is TikTok still not on the App Store?
You guys, have you heard of the camel and the...
We won't let the world burn away, we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To play, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Yeah, you can't download it. It's not in the App Store. It says that they're complying with U.S. law. It's not available on the App Store. It even asks you, are you looking for TikTok? Here's what it says. Looking for TikTok? Downloads for this app are paused due to a current U.S. legal requirement. So you can't even download it. I was going to do one louder, but I figured I'd give myself a headache. So that was it. Hope it was worth it, chat. Hope it was worth it. It's 19 here. It's 19 there. I know you guys got snow from the damn coast, right? Like, because we had that snow like a few days ago, and then we just been fucking freezing cold. It hasn't even really been snow. Just cold. Even the ship hop is frozen. If that is a thought, tomorrow I might have to fucking get some heat on it.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindeland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. Hey. What's happening? What's up? Patron in my cup. Thank you guys for joining us. We're back another day. If you're wondering why we're still late, blame Mariah. I was all ready to go right after 10 o'clock, okay? And Mariah texts me and says, oh, well, I think you need to bring home some milk. What she wants me to do is do the show and then get milk at the gas station, but it's like 8 something a gallon, and it's almost always spoiled. Like the dates are still good. I just don't think they keep it cold enough or something. Like there's always something fucking wrong with it. So I had to run to the store after I hit start stream. I don't know if you guys got notifications earlier or not, but I'm back now. And I got a gallon of milk. So there you go. Another day, another gallon. I didn't even bother bringing it in. It's cold enough. So let's check out our investment portfolio. The Trump coin. Even worse than the Trump coin is the Melania coin. It's just down and not coming back. The Trump coin. Yeah. All this did was hurt crypto. Imagine something new comes out. Imagine the first ATM comes out, right? The very first ATM comes out. And with the very first ATM, you've never seen a machine like this before, right? It's an ATM. The very first ATM, you go to use it and you pull out $20 and it charges you $20,000. And you lose everything and overdraft your bank account, and it takes months to fix it, even if you can fix it at all, right? It just fucks you over. That's going to be a lot of these people's first taste with any type of crypto. Trump doesn't have a whole lot of, like, his base followers that would just go buy this on a whim are not experienced in crypto. So even if you're into crypto, even if you like crypto, even if you think crypto is a good thing and we should start moving towards it, this is horrible for crypto as a whole. The first time his followers are going to be involved in it, they're going to get fucking ganked for all they're just going to lose a shit ton of money. And the fact that other people would argue like, well, you just got to get in at the right time and get out at the right time. Fucking, what's his name? Derek, the Kratom guy or whatever, the Acadian Carpenter. He's like, well, you just got to get in at the right time, get out at the right time. I'm making money. Where do you think that money's coming from, dude? Whose money do you think you're making? I've decided to stop responding to him because he can't even get a single fucking interaction on any of his posts. But still, like, he's just taking it from other Trump supporters that weren't as quick as him, right? Like, it's not money from heaven. It's not just produced and released. Like, you're just taking someone else's money. It's getting fucked. I don't know. Shit's wild. Melania coin shit. The pastor that done the black pastor that did the prayer with Trump or whatever, he launched a coin like immediately afterwards. Everybody's fucking launching coins. And they have no inherent value. At least Bitcoin, you can like use it for goods and services. XRP is like made for like fucking banks and shit to use. Like some of them have legitimate uses, right? USDC is pegged to the US dollar. So when you get in it, you're not going to make money, but you're not going to lose money either. So if you get $450 worth of USDC, no matter what it does, it'll still be $450 with USDC. You can use it for purchases and shit. That's what I use for the Vesk thing that I bought because it's from like it's from a company that has a copyright or a trademark patent infringement thing going on. So they only sell with crypto. I used it for it, but I didn't have to worry like if I bought it for this price and 20 minutes later it's down here at this price because USDC is just pegged to the US dollar. It's a utility coin, right? That you can use to buy shit. I don't know. Shit's wild. Trump and his fanboys are going after the, was she a bishop? Because she had the audacity to ask Trump to please be kind to those who have little to no power.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God.
So she's saying, like, you claim that, like, God saved you to be president, right? Because that is his claim, that God saved him to be president with the assassination. God saved him to be president.
In the name of our God, I ask you.
And you tell me if she says anything, like, super offensive. Like, I can't believe you fucking piece of shit. You need to open that fucking border and start chopping dicks off. Like, that's not what she does. She's just like, hey, there's kids that are this and they're probably scared. There's immigrants that, you know, clean our homes and work in construction and farm our food that are probably scared. Just be kind. No, he's going after her head. And then this motherfucker, imagine going to church with the president because you're one of those religious types. And like as soon as you walk outside, he's like, boring, not a very good pastor. That's what he did. That's what his post. Very boring and uninspiring.
In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now.
Have mercy on people who are scared now.
There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. And the people.
By the way, the view of this where like the camera's on Trump, JD Vance is like he thought Trump was going to jump up and fight her or something. And he was going to have to fucking hold him back. Like he's like, I fucking the hell out of him.
The people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation.
They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation. Be kind.
But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members.
And he says, oh, she doesn't even address the murderers. She just said the vast majority are not criminals, which is true, right? Immigrants commit crime at a lower rate than people born here. So the vast majority of them are not criminals, the same as the vast majority of the American population is not criminals. So she did address that there are criminals. She's not talking about those people. She's talking about the vast majority.
Members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away.
Children who fear that their parents will be taken away, which now that we've gotten rid of birthright citizenship, they might be taken away, right?
That you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their...
This blows my mind. Imagine being born in a country, you've never been to another country in your life, and there's a chance that you get deported to a country you've never been to, may not even speak the language, don't know anybody there because you've never fucking been there. The birthright thing is crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger.
Right. Merciful to a stranger. Sure.
For we were all once strangers in this land.
He doesn't have a problem with her. He has a problem with Christianity. Jesus was a refugee. Jesus was brown.
May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world. Amen.
Now that was the horrible, evil, nasty woman that attacked Trump. Is this the video with is this the video on him? There's a video staring at him. We can look it up in a second. Anyways, it says, referencing Trump's belief that he was saved by God from assassination, the Right Reverend Marianne Buddy said, "You have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now." Now, after he returned to the White House, all he said was, "I didn't think it was a good service, and they could do much better." That's all he said in public at the White House. But then he gets into keyboard warrior mode. It says, but later, in an overnight post on his social media site, he sharply criticized the so-called bishop. The so-called bishop. Jesus Christ, this dude's wild. And he says, the so-called bishop who spoke at the National Prayer Service on Tuesday morning was a radical left, hardline Trump hater. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart. She failed to mention the large number of illegal migrants that came into our country and killed people. Many were deposited from jails and mental institutions. It is a giant crime wave that is taking place in the USA. Apart from her inappropriate statements, the service was very boring and an uninspiring one. She is not very good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology. They don't owe the public anything. He wants an apology. He wants an apology. He wants an apology. From her. Why would she owe the public anything? All she said was be kind. The public's not upset. Then, a Republican congressman, Mike Collins, makes a Twitter post and says that the person giving this sermon, the bishop, should be added to the deportation list. So they don't really care. They don't really care if you're here legally, illegally. They don't really care if you're a citizen. They don't really care what your parents are. It's enemies that need to be deported. Enemies of Trump. Why would you put the bishop in Washington, D.C. on the deportation list? Why would you even suggest it? Here it is with the video on Trump, by the way, the one I was talking about. Nasty tone. Nasty.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you.
Watch JD.
And as you told the nation...
By the way, the chat's covering it, but JD's wife does look kind of solemn and like she's paying attention and like she feels the sermon kind of deal. They're just all here for show, right? Trump's never been anything close to religious until all this happened, until he started needing the religious vote.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the
Watch JD's face.
hand of a loving God.
By the way, he's still a chubby 8th grader at heart. Sometimes his facial expressions give him like this chunk look on his face. He's still a chubby 8th grader. That fat little bastard called the police on me.
In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy.
Why does she have 2 black eyes? Do we need to enhance it? JD's eyes already got big. She's asking something of Trump in the name of God. Trump is God. Look at those eyes, dude. Somebody had a rough night, didn't they? God damn. Anyways, here's JD. So all she said so far is, in the name of God, I want to ask you. And JD Vance's guy liner went to the next fucking level.
Mercy upon the people
Watch him check on Trump.
who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican.
Look at the face he just made to his wife. He goes, like, can you believe she's even saying that gay kids exist? Can you believe this?
And independent
His wife won't even fucking look at him. She nods and blinks, basically.
families.
His wife, let me pull down chat. I want you to see this, because his wife won't even fucking look at him. Let me pull down the chat and the backer. Okay, watch this. Let me back up just a little bit. Watch when he looks at his wife. His wife nods and look like at the priest and blinks. Will not look at JD Vance. Watch this.
In our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families.
Never even look at her. Or look at him. She will not look at him, dude. Will not make eye contact.
Who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families.
Now watch when he checks on Trump.
Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in
He looks at her again. He looks at her again. Is she going to look at him this time?
and work the night shifts in hospitals.
Nope.
They
He's even going to say, hey, are you hearing this?
may not be citizens,
She will not look at him.
or have the proper documentation. But the vast
Trump won't even look at the bottom. He's looking away.
majority of
Is everybody seeing this?
criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are
Look, he's got to check on Trump. Am I going to have to hold him back? Is he going to curb stomp this bitch on the altar?
faithful members
Trump won't look at him either. Nobody will look at JD. JP. What's his name?
of our churches and mosques.
Tell me that's not an evil fucking look. Trump always looks evil. I get it. And tell me this doesn't bring out the chunkiness of his 8th grade face. I'm telling you, some of his facial features, when he's making certain expressions, I'm like, oh, that's just a chubby kid. And then it's like, oh, fuck, that was JD Vance. Definitely better with the beard, though, for sure.
synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear
They're both fucking immigrants. They're both married to immigrants.
that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands.
I take that back. I don't. His wife might have been born here. I said that. Hold on. Her parents were probably immigrants, I guess. She was born in San Diego. Her parents are immigrants.
To find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land.
I'm glad she did that. You know how much courage this has to take? I mean, you want to think the best of somebody. You're thinking, oh, well, you know, all she's saying is, you know, be nice. But you have to know in the back of your head, like, he burns people down for much less than this.
May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world. Amen.
So Melania actually got a visa called the, I don't know, we read about this before. It's called the EB-1, and they call it the Einstein visa, okay? Because usually it's like Pulitzer Prize winners, Oscar winners, Olympic athletes, you know, like the top of the top. Someone of sustained national and international acclaim. That's how she got a visa here. When she was dating Donald Trump, right? She was a model. She was a model from Slovenia. That's wild. And now they're like, that she should be on the deportation list. Rep Mike Collins, the person given this summary should be added to the deportation list. This is sick. A Republican congressman is calling for the bishop, an American citizen, to be deported because she preached compassion for immigrants. Remember when they pretend to care about free speech and said we must elect Trump to protect it. I made a new 3D print. Did you guys see that? You have to go check it out on TikTok. I can't believe these fucking people, dude. They can't. Now, Elon Musk, if you go to his page, Elon Musk is having the reason I named this Trouble in MAGA Paradise. Damn it, stop it. Is because close that. Sorry. Fucking shit opened. Let me put chat back up. Is because if we go to Elon Musk, okay, he is outright attacking. Oh, what did I turn on? That's the wrong one. Attacking a plan of Trump's. So Trump announces this Operation Stargate or whatever it is, which is like this huge AI investment and shit. And he even talked about MNRA. Vaccines for cancer, mRNA, vaccines for cancer, and AI and the production of AI and all this stuff, and a $500 billion investment. Now, Trump doesn't really know what's going on. Let's go to that announcement. Hold on. It is this AI infrastructure project.
It's my honor to welcome three of the world's leading technology CEOs. And in the case of Larry Ellison.
And Elon is outright attacking this, claiming the money isn't real. They don't have the fucking money. They're not doing this.
It's well beyond technology, sort of CEO of everything. He's an amazing man, an amazing business person. But to announce the largest AI
no one's even talking about Elon Musk. You fucking psychopath.
Infrastructure project by far in history. And it's all taking place right here in America. As you know, there's great competition for AI and other things, and they're coming in at the highest level. We're joined by Oracle Executive Chairman Larry Ellison, SoftBank CEO, my friend Masa Yoshi-san, and
wait, did you forget what he was?
Executive Chairman Larry Ellison, SoftBank CEO, my friend Masa Yoshi-san, and CEO of
SoftBank
AI, and I would say by far the leading expert based on everything I read.
So this OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle all coming together.
Altman, so that's great that you're coming in together. That's a massive group of talent and money. Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think you're going to hear a lot about it in the future. A new American company that will invest.
And this is huge. $500 billion to invest $500 billion in AI infrastructure.
Invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States, and very, very quickly, moving very rapidly.
By the way, consider supporting the show. I got to pimp myself out because I haven't had a paycheck in fucking months. It's winter. The fucking hurricane fucked everything up, took my job. So support the show at coldbeer.fund. If you can, that'd be great. If you can't, understand.
Creating over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately. This monumental undertaking is a resounding declaration of confidence in America's potential under a new president. Let me be a new president. I didn't say it, they did. So I appreciate that, fellas. But it'll ensure the future of technology. What we want to do is we want to keep it in this country. China is a competitor, and others are competitors. We want it to be in this country, and we're making it available. I'm going to help a lot through emergency declarations, because we have an emergency. We have to get this stuff built. So they have to produce a lot of electricity.
This be real as this be fucking retarded. You're the dumbest motherfucker I think I've ever met in chat.
And we'll make it possible for them to get that production done very easily at their own plants if they want, where they'll build at the plant, the AI plant, they'll build energy generation, and that will be incredible. But it's technology and artificial intelligence. So
he doesn't really know how to explain it. He's just kind of bouncing around the fucking talking points.
Made in the USA. Begin immediately, Stargate.
But you can tell it's a big investment. He's talking about infrastructure, power plants, AI, 100,000 jobs right off the bat. I think there was even me talk about one of these places already broke ground and is building already, which is kind of weird if they already broke ground and this was like the day Trump. You mean they broke ground under Biden? You just didn't want to say anything?
We'll be building the physical and virtual infrastructure to power the next generation of advancements in AI, and this will include the construction of colossal data centers, very, very massive structures. I was in the real estate business. These buildings, these are big, beautiful buildings. They're going to employ a lot of people. And physical campuses and locations currently being scouted nationwide. They're making their choices of locations. I think they have their choice. I'd like to ask Larry, Sam, and Masa to say a few words and just talk about a little bit about what they're doing. And
no, that isn't true. In the early 1900s, you don't even have the fucking dates right. It was called Operation Paperclip, and it was post-World War II. That's not the early 1900s, no.
If you have any questions, and then we'll go into a couple of other subjects also, but this is...
I feel like English is like not even your second language because you don't have a grasp on it.
to me, a very big thing, $500 million Stargate project. I think it's going to be something that's very special. It'll lead to something that could be the biggest of all. So, Larry, maybe we'll start with you and we'll go.
Very special, could be the biggest of all. The biggest of all what?
Down the line. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. We certainly couldn't do this without you. It would simply be impossible. AI holds incredible promise for all of us, for every American. We've actually been working with OpenAI for a while and with MAGA for a while. The data centers are actually under construction. The first of them are under construction in Texas. Each building's 500,000 square feet.
The program didn't even begin till 1945. That's definitely not early 1900s.
10 buildings currently being built, but that will expand to 20 and other locations beyond the Abilene location, which is
and it went through the 60s. That's definitely not early 1900s.
Which is our first location. The kind of applications that we're building, to give you an idea, maybe the most charismatic and the one that I think touches us all is electronic health records, not just maintaining.
This guy kind of looks like Elon Musk and Tony Stark had a kid.
Electronic health records, but by looking at electronic health records, understanding the condition of the doctors, better understanding the condition of their patients, and being able to provide healthcare plans that are much better than they otherwise would be. A doctor in Indian River Reservation would be able to see how a doctor at Memorial Sloan Kettering would treat the patient, or a doctor at Stanford would treat the patient. We actually provide all of that information, all of that guidance to the doctors who are treating cancer.
Oh, thank you for the 6 packs. I appreciate it. Someone bought you 5 6-packs, anonymous with no message. Thank you, though.
Patients or
oh shit. Oh, thank you, Jay Bird. I appreciate it. Just a little to help. Wish I could do more. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Any other kind of disease made possible by AI. I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'm going to pass it to Masa, but this is a very exciting program for Oracle to be a part of. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you. That really helped. That's good. That's good.
1901, I guess.
I feel tall now. Thank you. Well, Mr. President, last month I came to celebrate your winning and promised that we will invest $100 billion. And you told me.
This is Yoshi. He looks different without the little dinosaur suit on, but.
Oh, Masa, go for 200. Yeah. Now I came back with 500.
This is the guy that's he was. We saw Trump's speech where he's talking about investing $100 billion, maybe do $200 billion, huh? How about it? That's the guy he was talking to off stage.
Because this is the, as you said yesterday, this is the beginning of golden age. Golden age of America. This is one great example, I think. Right? We wouldn't have decided to do this. I think so. This is the beginning of golden age. We wouldn't have decided unless you won. And yesterday we agreed, we signed to make this happen. Great. Because of this day. Very nice. So we would make this happen. We would immediately start deploying $100 billion with the goal of making $500 billion within the next 4 years, within your term. Yeah. Right? Because of your success. So we are very, very excited to do this. And our partner is, of course, SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, and additionally investing partner with MGX. On top of that, we have the technology partner, NVIDIA. And of course, Microsoft has been very, very supportive to Sam and continue to support.
NVIDIA and Microsoft included in the project. So like a big project. I don't think there's anything wrong with this.
This is not just for business. As Larry said, this will help people's life. This will help solving many, many issues, difficult things that otherwise we could not have solved with the power of AI. I think AGI is coming.
At some point, a time ago, scientists came from Germany to U.S. That's the most generic statement. At some point, someone left one country and went to a different one. You got me there.
Very, very soon. And then after that, that's not the goal. After that, artificial super intelligence will come to solve the issues that mankind would never, ever have thought that we could solve. Well, this is the beginning of...
Oh, thank you, Clayton. I appreciate it.
Our golden age. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fantastic.
I don't have too much to add, but I did want to say I'm thrilled we get to do this in the United States of America. I think this will be the most important project of this era. And as Masa said, for AGI to get built here, to create hundreds of thousands of jobs, to create a new industry centered here, we wouldn't be able to do this without you, Mr. President.
At some point, dinosaurs roamed the earth.
And I'm thrilled that we get to. I think it'll be an exciting project. I think we'll be able to do all of the wonderful things that these guys talked about. But the fact that we get to do this in the United States is, I think, wonderful. So thank you very much.
Could you just say one word? I hear so many positive things about.
The scientists went to tons of countries. We tried to get the best we could, and it was mostly because of their rocket programs.
What it's going to do for medical research and for solving things, cancer and all the different problems. How will AI help us with the fight against the various?
So he didn't like they didn't put enough spin on it, right? He wants them to come in and be like, we're going to solve this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. So he's like, hey, get back up there and tell them how we're going to solve cancer and stuff with AI.
Problems, diseases, etc.
These guys can maybe share more about some of the work they're doing there. I think they'll jointly be some of the leaders about driving progress here. But I believe that as this technology progresses, we will see diseases get cured at an unprecedented rate. We will be amazed at how quickly we're curing this cancer.
So this is all downstream from the mRNA vaccines and the way they work, right? Their mode of how they identify, how they work, how they manipulate. And this is why mRNA vaccines were such a huge field of study that opened up. This is the same reason we were able to develop the COVID vaccine so quickly and what that could potentially lead to.
And that one in heart disease.
But Trump's people have already decided no vaccines ever again. Even though Trump made the COVID vaccine, it's still a bad one. He really wanted you to drink, I don't know, fucking aquarium cleaner, and now you're going to be good.
And what this will do for the ability to deliver very high quality healthcare, the costs, but really to cure the diseases at a rapid rate, I think will be among the most important things this technology does.
Very good. Thank you.
Anyways, Musk has been very open, arguing with people and shit, right? Like, Altman literally testified to Congress he wouldn't get OpenAI compensation, and now he wants $10 billion. What a liar. This is one of the guys there from OpenAI. It says OpenAI makes moves to turn a nonprofit into a profit. Sam Altman gets 7% of the company in new profit company. New York Times propaganda, how labeling cartels terrorists could hurt the U.S. economy. What project is this, Sam? And this is a good question. Sam Altman is funding left-wing media. This is from last week. Axios had pushed every anti-at-real Donald Trump hoax under the sun. So now he doesn't like him because he funds he donates to Axios. Sam Altman and OpenAI are funding Axios, which pushes against Trump and anti-American propaganda. Now, this was after he had already been arguing with them for hours. It was like he just wanted to argue with them on Twitter for hours, and then they found out, oh, well, they support left-wing broadcasts, so now Trump will support me. Kind of weird. The whole thing was strange. I saw it in a reply, so let me grab the replies here. Because I know he was replying to people and literally arguing, unless he's deleted it. Sam Altman is a far left-wing radical who spent untold amounts of money to frame Trump and backed the coups. He praised Reid Hoffman's work funding lawfare and the E. Joan Carroll show trial against Trump. As of last week, Sam wrote a check to far left-wing media outlet Axios, and it says, wow. New York Times propaganda, good question. NGOs. This is the same one. Sam Altman has funding left-wing media. Have you watched any of these videos, by the way? None of these are what he did. None of them. I know they keep grabbing screenshots. None of these are what he did. The one they're trying to use AOC, she was hugging somebody. Like she reached around to hug a guy. It's fucking wild. Reid Hoffman did and spent to stop Trump from getting reelected. That's also tied back to Sam Altman. Obviously, Sam Altman's account. Reid Hoffman had a crazy lunatic say that Trump raped her. That's the claim from about E. Jean Carroll. Sam Altman and OpenAI are funding Axios, which pushes Trump and which pushes against Trump and anti-American propaganda. Axios is just a publication, but anything that's against Trump, obviously. Epstein Island attendee Reid Hoffman funded the lawfare against Trump. She wanted Trump to have been killed. This was a few days before the assassination attempt, and Sam Altman is a big fan of Reid. This is Sam Altman tagging somebody. Reid Hoffman. Their official terminology to refer to those arrests from non-citizens to illegal alien. This is another, he reposts this. Very few people read Hoffman. ATF changed, I guess, their diversity officer or something. He says, should the ATF exist, why not just merge it with the DEA? Where are the other ones? He tweets too much. How is OpenAI closed source for maximum profit? It was started as a nonprofit with a $100 million investment from Elon Musk. OpenAI used to be open source, but now it's closed source for maximum profit. Elon Musk.
The open in OpenAI is supposed to mean open source, and it was created as a nonprofit open source, and now it is a closed source for maximum profit, which I think is not good karma.
No, you spent several hours last night defending a guy that was fucking his stepdaughter. You're not stirring up the conversation for any good. You're just fucking retarded. Mothers who aren't citizens. There's no accurate number on this. Each year, 40,000 children are born to mothers who are non-citizens. This isn't an accurate number. It'd be almost impossible to get that. Sam Altman on May 16th. I have no equity in OpenAI. I'm doing this because I love it. That was another big lie. So apparently Trump didn't ring him. If Elon Musk is the technology genius or whatever, he's like the technology guy and Trump's admin. Why the fuck didn't he have? Why didn't he have a say in any of this? South Sudan. He wasn't kidding. You cannot out-accelerate me. Announcing the Stargate project. The Stargate project is a new company which intends to invest $500 billion. Elon says it's fake. It's fake? What do you mean it's fake? This project Stargate? The Stargate project is fake? Woke mind virus. Sam is a swindler, he says. I thought this was Trump's guy. Why didn't you tell Trump before he announced $500 billion project? Stargate is a great name, but the $500 billion is a ridiculous number, and no one should take it seriously unless SoftBank is going to sell all of their BABA and ARM. SoftBank has $38 billion in cash, $142 in debt, and generates $3-ish billion in FCF and BBG. They own $143 billion in ARM, $18 billion in something else. Elon retweeted that. Leaked image of the research tool OpenAI used to come up with their $500 billion number for Stargate. Why is he openly and directly arguing? Announcing Stargate, a $500 billion AI project. Elon Musk laughs. Congratulations on say the biggest number. U.S. CIS saying it won't give my husband his green card until he gets the COVID jab. There was a back and forth, unless he's deleted it, there was a pretty big back and forth. Oh, announcing this, here it is. Announcing the Stargate project. The Stargate project is a new company which intends to invest $500 billion over the next 4 years, building new AI infrastructure for OpenAI in the United States. We'll begin deploying $100 billion immediately. So it's a $500 billion over 4 years, $100 billion immediately. This infrastructure will secure American leadership in AI, create hundreds of thousands of American jobs, and generate massive economic benefit to the entire world. This project will not only support the reindustrialization of the United States, but also provide a strategic capability to protect the national security of America and its allies. The initial equity funders in Stargate are SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, and MGX. SoftBank and OpenAI are the lead partners for Stargate, with SoftBank having financial responsibility and OpenAI having operational responsibility. Masayoshi Son will be the chairman. ARM, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Oracle, and OpenAI are the key initial technology partners. The build-out is currently underway, starting in Texas, as we are evaluating potential sites across the country for more campuses as we finalize definitive agreements. As part of Stargate, Oracle, NVIDIA, and OpenAI will closely collaborate to build and operate this computing system. This builds on a deep collaboration between OpenAI and NVIDIA going back to 2016 and a newer partnership between OpenAI and Oracle. This also builds an existing OpenAI partnership with Microsoft. OpenAI will continue to increase its consumption of Azure as OpenAI continues its work with Microsoft, which is their AI model, with Microsoft with its additional compute to train leading modules and deliver great products and services. All of us looking forward to continuing to build and develop AI, and in particular AGI, for the benefit of all humanity. We believe that the next step is critical on the path, and we will enable creative people to figure out how to use AI to elevate humanity. They don't actually have the money, he says. So he leads off with, they don't have the money, they're lying. And then Sam says, I genuinely respect your accomplishment and think you are the most inspiring entrepreneur of our time. But there's a back and forth before this. Hold on. SoftBank has well under $10 billion secured. I have that on good authority. What authority? So SoftBank doesn't have to have all the money, right? If they've set this up and have agreements for people to invest, and it's not always just cash dollars, right? It could be $100 billion and $10 billion of that's cash and $90 billion of it's equipment and construction and concrete and whatever, right? Very weird. And Sam says, wrong, as you surely know, want to come visit the first site already underway. This is great for the country. I realize what is great for the country isn't always what's optimal for your companies. Damn. But in your new role, I'll hope you'll put America first. So Sam Altman just calls him out. Like, this is great for the country. It might not be best for your country because Elon has investments in AI, right? Very weird Trump didn't go with him. Watching POTUS more carefully recently has really changed my perspective on him. I wish I had done more of my own thinking and definitely fell in the NPC trap. I'm not going to agree with him on everything, but I think he will be incredible for the country in many ways. This is because he's getting all this backlash. Everybody's finding out like, oh, he didn't like him here, he didn't like him there. And he knows how quickly the fucking MAGA tards come out of nowhere and just cancel you. And if they raise enough shit about stuff that you've done and stuff that you've said, then Trump will just fucking cancel you and give you a goofy fucking nickname, and that'll be the end of it. It's very weird that Elon Musk is immediately coming out against it, while apparently he's also this close to Trump, right? This is wild, by the way, but the biggest investor in Donald Trump's reelection, also the biggest private company receiving funding from the United States government, is going to have an office in the fucking White House. So he's the biggest lobbyist for Trump's campaign, plus the biggest beneficiary of government funds, and he's going to have an office in the White House. Could you imagine? If George Soros had a fucking office in the White House, and not only did he donate billions or millions or whatever to the Democrats, but they were funneling all that money back to him on government contracts while he built guns, and he had an office in the fucking White House.
So the Elon Musk and Donald Trump drama continues, and if you're a fan of gangster and heist movies, you'll kind of know how this is going to end, right? You come together for that first big job that is going to be the last job that you ever do, but ultimately all of these thieves and gangsters end up cheating each other. These are the headlines today. Elon Musk, White House advisor, says OpenAI deal announced at White House is a sham. So it looks like Elon Musk is basically calling these people a bunch of liars. We just made a video on this just a few hours ago, and already Elon Musk is calling.
It seems like if this is true, if it's a sham, if it's a scam, he would have told Trump before he announced this deal, right? Aren't they working hand in hand, close? He knew about the deal before it happened, right? So why didn't he say that it's a scam then?
Now, you can see this here.
Or maybe he did and Trump didn't listen.
Pours cold water on Trump-backed Stargate AI project. This is also another headline. Musk undercuts Trump's Stargate AI investment announcement. So what is going on? Who's calling who a liar? And let's jump right in. So first, if you want to catch up on the drama, catch up on the last couple of videos I made. We've been covering this stuff. A lot of firings going on and a lot of money raising and money grabbing all at the same time. OpenAI, 18 hours ago, said announcing the Stargate project. And that was officially announced by Trump. And then he was flanked by Sam Altman was there, Larry Ellison, Masayoshi-san. And then Elon Musk says they don't actually have the money. And this is referring to the $500 billion investment, I guess.
By the way, Elon basically wormed his way into Trump's ear to get Vivek removed from Doge. According to people within the campaign or whatever, that Musk was able to get, you know how it was Elon and Vivek team up for this Doge thing, the Department of Government Efficiency? Well, Vivek is kind of like on the back burner now.
Coming into this thing, Musk is saying they don't have the money. Pretty nuts, because this particular story captures everything that we're facing with the markets, with our politics, sort of how we treat each other, all of it. So for example, Sam Altman says, Trump's Stargate will allow AGI to be built in the USA. So that is your artificial general intelligence. Trump has been bragging that AI, crypto, all these new data.
They say it stemmed from that post that we read, his Twitter post on H1B visas, where he's like, American culture is lazy and that's why you can't do the jobs and all that shit.
Create hundreds of thousands of jobs. That was according to Trump's words. We just talked about this. And that the AGI stuff is for many people say it's a pipe dream. The idea that we're going to create this AI that's going to be smarter and faster and more efficient at everything than humans. And then the question is like, what's going to happen to all our jobs? Well, they always kind of skip over that part. And whether or not the AGI ever works, that's a whole other issue as well. But this is what we're talking about, guys. Sam Altman even says 16 hours ago, build monuments in the desert, referring to his Stargate thing in Texas. And there's already fighting. You're like, well, why is Elon Musk calling this stuff lies? Well, because they're fighting over the same resources in the same land. Basically, it's just like, this.
So we find out they're fighting over the same resources in the same land. And Sam got it, not Elon. That's weird.
Counting big enough for the both of us. So for example, I mentioned this before, Elon Musk wants to build his AI company, his data centers, his Tesla battery factories in Texas. He wants your power. He wants your water. Guys, this is just the counting big enough for the both of them. Already Elon Musk is suing OpenAI, Sam Altman, these kind of things. Basically, he's claiming that they can't go for profits. And he's also claiming that it's a lot of lawsuits. I'll just say Musk has sued them 5 times now, I think it is. He's also claiming you can't raise money the way that you're doing it. Like Altman, I guess, said, hey, if you give money to me, you can't give money to Musk. The drama is actually really insane. Another headline here, Sam Altman calls Elon Musk a bully who enjoys getting into fights with fellow billionaires.
They're in a gigantic feud, and Trump still went with this deal.
But then he goes back and also says he still considers Musk a friend. Say what? Now listen to Sam Altman in his own words, and you'll see that he's a fast talker.
People who are concerned about AI on either the work and job front or
I'm gonna slow it down.
Scary. What do you say to them that there are rails to make sure that it doesn't go out of bounds?
Yeah, there are hundreds of.
They actually removed the protections that Biden had put in place, limiting like how far AI could go and how fast and how horrible it could be. Like, there's some real concerns around AI.
Millions of people using these tools today. It'll go to billions. People are using it and really dependent on it for all sorts of great things in their lives. Like any new technology, we do have to put some rails on it. You can imagine ways it could go wrong. But if you look at the safety record, what we've been able to ship so far, what I think we'll be able to do in the future, the benefits of this tremendously outweigh the downsides. We have to.
You want me to come run for governor in Ohio? Kick out Vivek?
To be responsible how we do this, we have to build it carefully. But I think people are really good, and people will do, on balance, incredible things with this technology. The scale of this investment obviously is huge, and what I think that says about the likely progress of the technology, at least what all of us believe, is correspondingly huge. But I have enormous faith we'll figure it out.
And the first one in Texas?
First one in Texas, already going.
So you can see he said a whole bunch of stuff, acknowledging that AI has some downsides, but I guess on balance he says it's good. He's also talking about the power stuff and whatever in Texas. Guys, you have to understand all this in context, because again, right now.
It's so weird to see these weird ass fucking influencers at shit like inaugurations. Fucking Logan Paul streamed the whole inauguration, including when Theo Vaughn's chair broke and he fell into his lap.
We're facing a downturn in the markets and the economy, and these people that you're seeing all argue and fighting about getting your tax dollars to build their AIs and batteries and humanoid robots and robotaxis, all this kind of stuff. That's supposed to be the solution to all our problems, is to replace us with robots. I know if you think that is.
By the way, there's a really, really, really good little documentary video on self-driving cars, self-driving taxis, the amount of money that's being invested and that people hope to get and become billionaires and how poorly they're actually operating. And what that could mean for everybody else. It seems like they want to push this self-driving car thing and self-driving taxis and shit like that instead of public transport, which is so fucking good, dude, right? We could put a shit ton of people on a fucking train and move from here to there and have stops. Like, it's so fucking good. It's amazing. But what they want to push for are these fleets of self-driving cars, self-driving taxis. And that's obviously going to cause an issue because they're not as good as they're supposed to be. And humans are inherently flawed. But they think the push and the drive is going to be to basically the roads now belong to self-driving cars. You can't walk, you can't bike, you can't drive your own fucking car because they're going to put in these gigantic fleets of self-driving cars, which is the most inefficient way to move one person at a time. It's stupid.
Doesn't make sense. That's the point. None of it makes sense. On top of this, Elon Musk, because I don't want to imply that Elon Musk is telling the truth.
They're trying to hide like deaths that have been caused and fucking these horrible, tragic stories of shit from they're trying to hide all that shit and get these contracts. Like, it's really bad. I need to look it up and then I'll tell you what it is.
I don't know. I don't know who's telling the truth in this stuff. I think they're all liars, to be further frank. Because we know Elon Musk lies about video games, right? He pretends to be the best video
dumb
game
as shit.
in the world. It's hard to say what to say about this stuff. Hard to say how.
By the way, Elon Musk finally admitted that he boosted his account, right? That someone else is playing it for him probably 90% of the time, which is good because he got caught playing while he was also at President Trump's inauguration. So that's fucking impossible, right? You could see him on live TV and supposedly he was playing his character. But he finally admitted that he boosted his account. And he's like, oh, of course, everybody does. If you don't, then the Chinese will just defeat you. But these other players don't. They stream like 18 hours a day playing their own accounts. They spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours building these accounts, and you can watch it live. But he's like, every time you see a video I post, that's really me, which I don't think is true, because sometimes you see a video of him, and it's like really high quality, no audio, playing in a completely different style, using different techniques and shit. He'll post that. Then when he streams and posts, it'll be like kids and people talking in the background, super low fucking quality. His face cam will be on. Like, he's fucking lying.
To read these things, I should say. There's another headline: blame the Supreme Court for Elon Musk's power in Trump's administration, referring to Citizens United, meaning that, right now we have an oligarchy where business can come in and buy everything. Regards to the technology stuff, I think Trump just basically says whatever he's paid to say. I don't think he understands any technology.
All right, listen, the account is called, it's an hour long, but you should watch it, okay? I'm going to drop the link. It's called How Self-Driving Cars Will Destroy Cities. And it's from an account called Not Just Bikes, okay? But it's a really, really, really good documentary about what they're lying about, what they're not showing you, how poor the technology actually is when they praise it and say it's fucking basically perfect or near perfect. The contracts they're getting with the amount of money we're talking about here, and it could really, really change our cities when we ought to be going for public transit. We ought to be going for public transit. We're falling into this trap of this is the future and you can't resist it and you got to do it this way. Like, it's not a good idea, I don't think, at least after watching that documentary.
Anyway, all Trump knows is, hey,
Strong Towns is good. Yeah.
If you don't know, Trump and his wife Melania have both launched their meme coin crypto, so they're trying to get a cash grab that way, and also it's a way for them to take foreign money.
Here's the question: why is he still cash grabbing? How much money does he fucking need? He's immune from prosecution. He's the president of the United States. Why are they still grabbing cash? Why are they still selling shoes and Bibles and crypto? At some point, isn't that beneath him? Like, no, I'm not going to do some weird scammy shit. I'm a multi-billionaire and the president of the United States. I'm good.
On top of that, I don't know who's got money and where the money's going. I mean, that's another problem is like, Musk is like, they don't actually have the money. That's regarding the Stargate project. But what I'm saying though is like, it's so hard to know who's telling the truth of any of this stuff, and there's lots of dark money flowing.
If you're looking on his channel, if you don't use the link, you look on the channel later, not just box. It's from 2 months ago. And it was really good. I watched the whole thing. Why not?
So Elon Musk even followed up and said, SoftBank has well under 10 billion secured. I have that on good authority. Now, remember, we're trying to get this money to add up to 500 billion. So how do we add all these things up regarding all these parties involved? Sam Altman says, I generally respect your accomplishments and think you are the most aspiring.
Dude, we're the best country in the world, right? We ought to have the best public transit system. It ought to be easy to go in somewhere and say, look, there's a group of this many 100,000 people. And we've done the research. Most of them travel here, here, and here, and here. And if we put in these 6, 10, 50 stops, everybody could travel it, and you wouldn't even need a car. That's the way it should fucking work.
Entrepreneur of our time. So he doesn't really say one way or the other who's telling the truth. That was his response. You also got this. He also responds to Sam Altman again. He says, wrong. As you surely know, want to come visit the first site already underway. This is great for our country. I realize that what is great for the country isn't always what's optimal for your companies, but in your new role, I hope you'll mostly put America first. So these how these people talk to each other. It's kind of crazy. So Altman's trying to be more diplomatic about it. Elon Musk is, basically, you don't have the money, you're liars. And I honestly, this is again, fight for dollars. But the thing is, theoretically, both these guys could take all of our money, right? Theoretically. However, I think this is all about power and positioning because they're also trying to build in the same spot. That's why I said maybe the town ain't big enough for the both of them. You can actually look at more. It's insane how when you dig down this rabbit hole. Smoke Away says OpenAI and Microsoft are done. Sam Altman replies, this is just 15 hours ago. Absolutely not. Very important and huge partnership for a long time. We need more compute. Beth is saying, did OpenAI raise $500 billion? Altman just gives a salute. So I don't know if that's a yes or a no. I don't know what salute means. You guys be the judge.
They don't. What I'm trying to say is SoftBank, just because they said they're leading up the financial side, they don't have to have liquid cash, right? They might have a fucking shit ton of investment behind them.
That
especially with the companies they name, Microsoft and Nvidia and these gigantic fucking companies.
It's interesting when you actually read through comments and stuff, like people kind of see the stuff that we talk about in our community, right? S.C. Robinson says, Trump announced it. Aren't you and Larry good friends? That refers to Larry Ellison over at Oracle. This is confusing. Can you please elaborate? Hogue says Sam might need to sell a car. Someone else says,
dude, I noticed this. Our town's way too small for like a bus. They do have this thing in Tennessee called Net Trends, where like if you're like elderly or disabled or whatever, and you need like a doctor's appointment or something, or even to go like the courthouse or whatever, they'll come pick you up, but you have to call them ahead. But I did learn that last time we went to fucking Gatlinburg and like Dollywood and shit, it's got to be so much better to just stay at the hotel and take the trolley in, dude, because you don't have to fight the traffic. They take you right to the fucking front gate. We parked like 6.5 miles away, have to ride this fucking golf cart trolley thing. It's horrible. So I think next time we go, first of all, I found out that if you really want to go in style, for $200 a piece, you get VIP tickets with your own fucking guide. You get to right to the front of line and shit. They take you to drop you off. They hang out with you. They'll take you to any spot you want to go to. You don't need a fucking map, which would be the way to go if you're a fucking baller. But if you're poor like me, stay at the hotel and take the trolleys in or whatever.
Is this for tram? But I don't think community notes is really going to know how much money people have anyway, because Musk lies a lot about his money situation the same way Trump does. I'm sure Altman's lying about his money situation too. You can't trust any of these people. That's the kind of world this is in. This is all it's all a house of cards essentially, because what you're trying to do is always convince someone that you've got the cash, that your project's moving forward, and you're essentially juggling.
Everybody guess what country this Be Real is from.
A bunch of pies in the air, I guess you could call it. I hope you don't drop any of the pies and land on someone's face. Another person says, that's fine. They can just launch some meme coin and secure the funds. We talked about fart coins yesterday. Yes, and I did say fart coin, and no, I'm not joking. Watch my video from yesterday. We talked about that. Other people say here, competition AI is dumb. Let them use Starlink and orbit data centers and the whole space data center stuff. Actually, Google and Elon Musk were making jokes or serious jokes. I never know. It's hard to tell if these people are serious or not about this stuff. I mean, we're talking about real money. And that's why I wanted to show you the Sam Altman thing, like how these kind of people talk. Because sometimes when you just only see their text and, you maybe hear news stories of how awesome these people are, but then when you actually see them talk, be it see Elon Musk, stumble around with whatever speeches he's saying and giving questionable salutes. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's not great in a lot of big cities either. But the idea, and other countries have made it work pretty fucking good. The idea should definitely be used. It's wild that we're just living gridlock all the time around large cities.
Or Sam Altman being a fast talker, or Trump, looking uninterested and low energy, how he's been doing lately. Like this whole thing is a sham, isn't it obvious? Talking about.
blame the Supreme Court for Elon Musk's power in Trump's administration. Elon Musk's outsized influence with the new president is a direct result of Supreme Court the Citizens United decision.
Or Sam Altman being a fast talker, or Trump, looking
It's about campaign investment finance.
low energy, how he's been doing lately. Like this whole thing is a sham, isn't it obvious? It is a cast of characters that fit in a circus, but not necessarily fit in our leadership at the highest levels. It is a major, major problem. And unfortunately, not enough people pay attention to this stuff. That's why I have to show you guys all these things that we look at every day. I follow it, but I just want to make sure you guys are following it as well. There's this. Okay, so Microsoft supposedly does have the money. So I would believe that Microsoft has money. That I would believe. This year, Microsoft's OpenAI's largest investor was named technology partner in a project. And this is from Satya Nadella told CNBC, look, all I know is I'm good for 80 million. So Microsoft says, okay, so they're claiming they got the 80 million. OpenAI.
I don't know if you're irrelevant or not. I'm just saying that there's something in your speech pattern that is from somewhere else.
Theoretically, it just says raise billions of dollars here. Oracle, I guess, has 11 billion. SoftBank maybe has a 30 billion. So how do we get to the 500 billion? Well, that's maybe where Trump comes in. And we're talking about quite a lot of money here. On top of that, there's more drama to this stuff. That's why I had to go through all these things. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this stuff as well. Sam Altman's accusing people. He says here, Twitter hype is out of control again. We are not going to deploy AGI next month, nor have we built it. We have some very cool stuff for you, but please chill and cut your expectations 100x. It's hard to follow because he'll make speeches saying, hey, we're close to AI. Now he's saying control your hypes. Like these people are, double talking here. Sam Altman also says, thank you for
AI's artificial intelligence, AGI's artificial general intelligence. It's a theoretical concept. It's not out yet.
To the external safety researchers who tested O3 Mini, we now have finalized the
general intelligence would be like AI that can perform basically any task that any intellectual task, I guess, that a human could.
Version and beginning to release the process, planning to ship a couple of weeks. Also heard the feedback. We'll launch API and ChatGPT at the same time. It's very good. So they're always announcing new products and always announcing how close they are. And then he's trying to say play down the hype. And then you also have this issue, which I think is important, which not enough people mention enough, but I do talk about because I think it is something you want to think about, especially if you're just a citizen and people are trying to take your power and water. If you're an investor, if you're curious, like if any of these crypto projects, AI.
You remember how much it fucked up the Texas power grid when we went to that cold snap a few years ago? Ted Cruz went on vacation or whatever and left his dog inside.
Projects, all these things that these tech bros and Trump are promising you are real. I'll say this, regardless of what we do, we have a power problem, and they want to add more strain onto the power grid. Be it electric cars take a lot of power, right? And all those data centers take power, etc. And then we have climate change, and this is the headlines today, just coming out today. Deep freeze propels power demand on largest U.S. grid to winter record. They were talking about storms like I think the last crazy storms were like 1895 or some crazy thing. It's like say 130 years. It's like Texas, Florida, all over the South. People are getting snow that usually don't get snow. If you guys are experiencing this, please let me know. And then they're talking about we're like at the highest use of energy.
I saw a clip and wish I would have saved it, but it was talking to ER trauma centers that are reporting high numbers of electric cars hitting pedestrians. Yeah. I watched that whole documentary about this, that, and the other, and eventually there's going to be so many of them, and they're not great. They're not the greatest at stopping this and blah, that they're going to basically make it like the same. The auto industry, you guys know jaywalking, it wasn't a real thing, right? Before, when cars were first running around everywhere, the road was shared. Like if you had a horse and buggy, you had a car, you had people walking, whatever, everybody was on the road. The auto industry came up with this jaywalking term that made it illegal for you to cross at places or whatever because they didn't want to deal with the fallout of people being ran over by cars all the fucking time and the bad press. So instead, when you got hit by a car, they'd be like, that's a jaywalker. It wasn't even a fucking thing. So basically that documentary goes into what they're going to do is there's going to be mass amounts of so many self-driving cars that you're going to end up with fences and shit and blocks, and you're not allowed to cross the road, right? It's illegal for you to cross the road because this is a highway for self-driving cars, and you'll have to find another way.
That we've had. Something's got to give. And I keep saying that the problem with all these people at the top is they're all born rich, so they have no idea how regular people live. They think you're a bunch of ants, basically, and they don't care about you. They want your water, want your power, want to build their data centers, replace you with AI and robots. That's their plan for
They have no idea what it's like to live day to day.
Success. And on top of that, people's houses are burning down. We've had dry season. And it's really the whole everything is crazy. That's why you have to pay attention to all this stuff. I don't ignore climate change. I don't ignore power needs. I don't ignore the needs of people, that need, affordable.
Pedestrians only have the right of way in places where they're allowed to walk. You can't just step out in the street. No. If you're in a crosswalk or a crossing zone or whatever, you have the right of way.
food, affordable housing. Now we got another fire in San Diego is just happening right now. I just saw this reported today. On top of that, because it's not just power. You have to understand it's all collectively related. We have the hurricane damage to still deal with. Part of to solve the power problems of all this new AI and all these crazy storms, etc., that knock out grids. Now we're talking about rebuilding and opening up a bunch of nuclear plants. So I'm actually not against nuclear energy. I'm not against it. I want to make that clear. But I think it needs to be done safely. And the other problem we have is that the Trump people and the Musk people, they want to remove all regulations. They want to get rid of like federal employees that protect our safety. And I can't stress this enough.
Well, I guess we're talking about access. So there's we can grab part of the documentary.
If you're going to be,
well, yeah, you can even get impeding traffic, jaywalking, impeding traffic.
Taking people's power that way.
So there's roads that are access controlled, and there's roads that are not access controlled. Like neighborhood streets, pedestrians that have the right of way, they're not access controlled.
And then to get more power, you're going to build these nuclear plants without regulators in place. And Musk hates the Environmental Protection Agency. He hates the EPA. He complains about it all the time because he wants to launch his rockets and poison your water and drop rockets in your house. And now all these AI centers want to build nuclear plants. Just think about that. Like if we don't have enough regulators in place and we start like opening up all of these nuclear plants in the tech bro culture, the Musk, the Altmans, and Trump and all these people, their culture is move fast and break things. That's not the culture that I want when I'm putting in a bunch of new nuclear plants. That's exactly the culture that I don't want. So if you guys disagree, please let me know. But that's the discussion right now is more nuclear plants. It's also crazy. This all Trump's putting the markets in disarray because we're talking about tariffs on Canada. So then all the Canadian stocks are like, what the heck is going on? Because people don't know. People don't know what
access controlled or like state highways, interstate, shit like that. Then it falls on the city to decide what pedestrians do.
What policy is going forward, nor if anyone's telling the truth on any of this stuff. I'll tell you something that is truth though. When Trump, he's
here, hold on, I'll grab the documentary. I still got it over here. Hold on. We'll watch it. It's an hour long. We can't watch it all. We'll watch part of it. So, moving fast and breaking people.
When people see these vehicles cruising around the streets of San Francisco, they might believe that this technology...
I really want you guys to go watch this. If you have an hour, just go watch this shit.
Around the corner. You can go there right now and see them dropping off passengers. They follow the speed limit and appear to drive cautiously. And it's amazing to see that there's nobody in the driver's seat. But that doesn't mean they're always driven by computer. As of last November, Cruise confirmed that their robotaxis required human assistance every 4 to 5 miles. I don't know how often this is needed today, but you don't have to watch these cars for very long to see that humans definitely still need to take remote control sometimes. This stupid robotaxi got stuck behind a construction toilet trailer until someone in the call center could steer it around. This one sat here for several light cycles because it didn't think it could turn right. The drivers behind it eventually gave up waiting and just drove around. Now, you might be wondering about these remote assistant agents who take control. Who are these people? Where are they located? How much are they paid? What are the working conditions like? But never mind all that. It's a technological miracle, okay?
Well, almost every state at a state level is going to say that, but so like Tennessee state law says cross the road at any location that's not access controlled road at any location unless restricted by local ordinances. So there is no state law on city roads. The local ordinances are in place for crosswalks, where you can walk, where you can't walk, where you can cross, where you can't cross.
Hey, just shut up and get in the car. Now, of course, this technology will inevitably get better, but nobody knows how...
I don't think state laws are going to be as bad as every city street in your city.
Long it will take to sort out the long tail of rare occurrences that a self-driving car will encounter in a busy city. And as any experienced product manager will tell you, the first 90% of a project takes 90% of the time, and the last 10% of the project will take the other 90%. The technology is advanced, but fundamentally, self-driving cars are stupid. They're mindless. They make a bunch of dumb mistakes. Recently,
this is a video. I don't know what happened. I saw this video when it kind of went viral. This is a Waymo parking lot, I guess, where they like store their cars, and something happened. I don't know what happened, but they just kept following each other around. And then more cars started backing out and doing it.
In this parking lot for self-driving cars, Waymo vehicles started driving in circles and randomly honking at each other. This happened for days, and this particular video was taken at 4 a.m. The people who live next door were not impressed. There have been dozens of official reports
they just kept driving around honking at each other.
Cars getting in the way of rescue operations, from blocking ambulances to crashing into fire trucks. But I guess
crashing into fire. Can you imagine, like, if this was like, if a national news agency pulled this together and they're like, well, we got them crashing into ambulances, we got them crashing into fucking fire trucks. Like, that's horrible.
Last October, a woman was hit by a car in San Francisco, driven by a human driver, and knocked into the path of a Cruise robotaxi. Cruise said the vehicle, quote, braked aggressively to minimize impact, and while the robotaxi couldn't stop fast enough to avoid hitting the woman, it still reacted faster than any human could. So that's a win for self-driving cars.
Right? So the car reacted faster than any human possibly could have, because you've got this processing time in your brain from the time you see something to the time you take action. So a computer doesn't have that, or it's a lot less. So it acted faster than any human possibly could. The problem was that it was on top of her. So when it checked its cameras, so it braked, stopped, saw a pedestrian stopped, it checks its cameras again, no person, and it takes off again.
Right? Except that the woman then fell under the car, so as far as the robotaxi was concerned, she was gone. So it continued to drive, dragging her underneath. A key detail that crews initially tried to hide from the press and regulators.
It's a first for police and fire departments involving a driverless car.
The victim was found to be under the left rear wheel of the vehicle. Thankfully,
I'm sure they could technically be hacked. If they've got people driving them remotely when they get stuck or whatever, then of course you could hack them because they've got some type of link there, right? It's not sealed in the car. So if they have a link to get to it, someone else could have that link.
the woman survived and cruise cars were taken off the roads, but this is a scary example of how these cars will make new mistakes that we haven't even considered yet. They are not intelligent. They don't even have the object permanence of a toddler. But that hasn't stopped them from being beta tested on public roads, and the citizens of these cities did not agree to this. Several groups in California have protested against
you may be putting yourself in danger when your city agrees to beta test.
and being the involuntary test subjects of multi-billion-dollar tech companies. And a Waymo car was even set on fire earlier this year. Self-driving cars have caused a lot of problems in San Francisco.
Waymo cars in San Francisco reportedly caused a big traffic jam just as baseball fans were leaving Oracle Park Monday afternoon. A KTVU viewer shared this video.
They just shut down the road.
Self-driving cars stopped in the middle of the Embarcadero.
The advocacy group Safe Street Rebel has published video evidence of self-driving cars running red lights, cutting off drivers, cutting off pedestrians, clogging up intersections, blocking streets, blocking public transit, parking in bike lanes,
and the companies spend millions of dollars trying to hide how poorly they're doing right now.
What the hell is this car doing to that old woman? So the idea that these cars will always obey the rules of the road is a fantasy.
They just ran a red light.
Rebel also organizes events like the Week of Cone. Since self-driving cars are programmed to avoid traffic cones at all costs, one of the best way to incapacitate one is to put a traffic cone on its hood. This is called coning, and it's fucking hilarious. I'm sure these mega corporations will lobby to make this a criminal offense, so do it now while you still can. Safe Street Rebel does a lot of great advocacy work that goes beyond
fatal Uber crash.
To avoid hitting people and objects, and there are dozens of sensors to make sure that doesn't happen. But these sensors are not infallible, and they require interpretation by software. It's important for self-driving cars not to crash into things that are there, but it's also important that they don't stop for things that aren't. Like this Tesla in self-driving mode that suddenly came to a stop on the highway and caused an 8-car pileup. You don't want a self-driving car to stop just because there's a bit of garbage blown onto the road or it detects something that won't cross the path of the vehicle anyway. So the software needs to evaluate every object that it detects. The first person to ever be killed by a self-driving car was a woman in Tempe, Arizona in 2018. She was crossing this road at night while pushing a bicycle and was hit by a modified Volvo SUV driven autonomously by the automated driving system developed by Uber. So why didn't all of this advanced technology prevent killing her? It's not that the car didn't detect her, it's just that it didn't think she was anything worth stopping for. The crash report from the NTSB provides a detailed...
It basically thought that she was like either not really there or a piece of trash or something blown across the road. Because you have to... It can see everything, right? But you have to let some stuff out, or else when it comes up on a plastic bag, it'll stop. Right? You can make it stop for everything, but that would shut down the road. So there has to be some type of filter built in. The same way when we talked about how radar works and how the Chinese spy balloon snuck up on us. Right? We don't want to see birds on our fucking radar. We could. We don't want to.
Explanation. The car flipped between identifying her as a vehicle to a bicycle to a general other category. Sometimes it detected her as being in another lane and other times as a static object that wasn't moving. The software didn't consider her to be an important object that was going to cross the path of the SUV until 1.2 seconds before the crash, when it was too late to stop without killing her. So when a self-driving car starts driving towards you, you better hope it hasn't detected you as other. But all this talk about sensors and self-driving obfuscates the real root cause of this crash, which is the atrocious state of American traffic engineering. This area is designed like a freeway with a high speed limit.
This goes into some of the background
and almost no
of how roads are designed.
Despite being directly between a rail station and hiking trails. At the time of...
So it's between a rail station and hiking trails. Obviously, you get a lot of foot traffic here, and it's designed like an interstate, like a closed access road.
Crash. The median had a paved roadway designed only to be used by cars if one of the bridges was closed, but it clearly looked like a walking path, and it was...
See this X here? That looks like a walking path. What they're trying to do is blend this in so it's not an eyesore and people don't use it all the time. But basically, this was only supposed to be used by cars if this bridge or these on-ramps were closed. Right? That's the only time it's supposed to be used for basically like U-turns. Well, people have just walk on it because it looks like a walking path.
Was regularly used by people crossing this road. Instead of any actual pedestrian infrastructure, the city just put up these used crosswalk signs that are still there today. It's disgraceful that traffic engineers put up these signs in a natural place where people would want to cross the road instead of, actually building a crosswalk here. But what's worse is that in 2018, it wasn't even physically possible to walk to the crosswalk because of the trees and greenery that had been planted here. Since the crash, the solution has been to turn the brick roadway into a rough stone path that is hostile to pedestrians. But they've now cut a hole through the cacti so that it is at least theoretically possible to reach the crosswalk now, though you still have to walk over 200 meters out of your way, plus the time it takes to wait for your turn to cross this highway. American traffic engineers routinely bend over backwards to make driving as convenient as possible while making these places actively hostile to pedestrians, then blame the pedestrians when they're hit by a car. In the U.S., around 42,000 people are killed in car crashes every year, and hundreds of thousands are seriously injured.
Sometimes we're going to skip ahead because, again, I don't want to watch this whole video. Promotion of car-centric cities. I do want you to go watch the whole video, though.
The first locations were undoubtedly chosen because they have very good weather, but I guarantee you that Phoenix, Arizona was also a top choice because
why are they all like in these places where there's like fucking tons of like sun and little snow and not many cold days and because the weather's going to wreak havoc on these motherfuckers when they go to other cities.
It's literally like driving on easy mode. The roads are insanely wide. There are almost no restrictions on where cars can go. It's made up of square grid blocks a mile on each side, and pretty much everybody drives everywhere all the time already. To say that Phoenix is car dependent is a massive understatement. If anthropomorphic cars could design cities, they would design Phoenix. It's also one of the most dangerous places for pedestrians in the entire developed world, but don't worry about that. Self-driving cars will fix everything. San Francisco is certainly more urban. There are people who walk and cycle, and there are public transit vehicles as well. But I've lived in the Bay Area, and I can tell you that even San Francisco is pretty car-centric and car-friendly compared to most cities in Europe, which I think is going to be a problem when this technology is rolled out internationally. These cars are trained to drive like Americans on American roads where cars are considered superior and above all other forms of transportation. Have you seen an American when they try to drive in Europe for the first time? It's not pretty. Of course, these tech companies could spend years retraining their vehicles to drive like...
So he's got a bunch more points again. I'm just jumping around.
Will fundamentally change our cities, especially if there's money to be made. So we need to seriously consider how AVs could negatively affect cities so that we can prepare for them.
These companies are even pitching like, oh, well, what we could do is, we'll have a fleet of like 500 cars, but they'll be in like, I guess, parking lots that we'll make, or they'll be out of town. They only come when they're needed so that you'll have less congestion. That's a lie, right? Because people will want them there instantly. So they're going to be like they do now. They'll be patrolling the block like a taxi does. And then people that take them from suburbs in, they're going to bring a shit ton of them in with them. Then they're going to hang out there because that's the high congestive area. Like that, none of that makes sense.
Today,
it's going to make congestion worse, I think, according to this video.
Technology improves, it will start to arrive in personal vehicles. Just like with cars, the first mass adoption will happen in suburbia, especially in the US and Canada. Suburbanites spend too much time sitting in traffic as it is, and it will allow those people to live even farther away from the city where property is even cheaper, so it will definitely be worth the cost for any reasonably wealthy suburbanite. And designing AVs for suburban roads is a much easier problem than for busy cities, so they'll be faster to market too. AVs will be proven safer than human drivers, so AV companies will lobby to have AV-only lanes installed on highways and throughout the suburbs. For those who can't afford their own autonomous vehicle, suburban municipalities will subsidize robotaxis in place of public transit. Entire suburban neighborhoods will be built.
And that's bad. Robotaxis instead of public transit is bad.
That are only accessible by autonomous vehicle, which has the added benefit of keeping any undesirable people out. This is the next logical step to the gated communities that are already common across the US. Suburbs will rapidly expand to consume even more valuable land. Power lines, water pipes, sewage pipes, and all other infrastructure will become even longer and more spread out, but there'll be so much money and debt flooding into suburbs on the promise of building the city of the future that nobody will stop to think about it. And besides, the bills to maintain it all are decades away. In other words, literally exactly what happened in the post-war suburbs of the last century. Autonomous vehicle companies may be making record profits from suburbanites, but the line must go up, so they'll look towards the cities, and their primary objective will be to eliminate the competition. In the 1920s, Los Angeles had the largest electric streetcar network in the world, but service declined significantly as the streetcars got stuck in traffic.
Which was awesome, but then traffic
behind cars. And the streetcars couldn't compete with a heavily subsidized road and highway system. Private streetcar companies were bought out by National City Lines, a company that was financed by General Motors and related companies and was specifically founded with a goal of tearing up streetcar lines throughout the US, because well-functioning public transit is a threat to car companies. History is going to repeat itself here. The companies who finance autonomous vehicles are going to do everything in their power to cancel transit projects, lobby against funding for public transportation, and replace public transit with...
And they have the money behind them because this is like the new future and investment and blah, blah, blah. They have it. They have the money to lobby everything out of existence.
Private robotaxis. There will be autonomous bus concepts promised, and some of these will go into operation to replace today's buses and trams, but the real money will be in private AVs and robotaxis. Robotaxis will be pitched as a more efficient form of transportation by offering door-to-door service, and any train or transit lines will be converted to AV lanes. But there's nothing more space efficient than a train. This 18-lane freeway in Toronto is over 100 meters wide, but it moves fewer people per day than this single subway line because trains are so much more space efficient than cars. In the early 1900s, the Brooklyn Bridge in New York moved over 420,000 people per day, but in the 1950s, the trolleys were removed to make way for cars. Since then, the Brooklyn Bridge has never moved more than 180,000 people per day, well under half as many as when there was public transit. The same thing is going to happen to our cities with AVs. The decrease in space efficiency moving from shared transit to private transportation, coupled with the massive increase in demand for cheap subsidized AV rides, will result in a massive increase in the number of vehicles in our cities.
Pedestrians.
The next problem will be pedestrians. As AVs become more common, people will realize they can cross the street wherever they want because AVs will always stop. And there is no way that AV companies are going to put up with that. They'll claim that people crossing the street are crippling the transportation system, and they'll demand that fences be put up along important streets and roads. Bamberg is a small town in the U.S. state of South Carolina. Like pretty much every American town, they had a traditional main street. But this main street also became the main highway through town, and all of that downtown activity, and especially all those people crossing the street, was interfering with the flow of car traffic. So they decided to widen the street and install fences along the sidewalks to prevent people from crossing mid-block. After construction was done, car traffic moved much more efficiently, and within a few years, every single shop in downtown Bamberg went out of business, and today, it looks like a ghost town. Because believe it or not, people don't enjoy being on a cramped sidewalk next to high-speed traffic.
Exactly.
This was a monumentally stupid idea, of course, but I bring this up because before the...
It basically destroyed to downtown.
The director of the Chamber of Commerce said that the project will, quote, be a major boost to the economy for the county and downtown Bamberg. There are a lot of people who genuinely believe that if car traffic moves more efficiently, then businesses will thrive, when the exact opposite is true. Cars don't buy things, people do. So if you make a place inhospitable to people, nobody will buy anything. Expect the same thing to happen with autonomous vehicles. As the fences go up, there'll be no reason for AVs to drive slowly, so they won't. The streets everywhere will be...
So once they'll try to keep you from crossing the road, right, because that's going to shut them down. People are going to realize they stop for you, so you can jump out anyways. Then the companies are going to be like, no, we got to do something here. Then once people are eliminated, now all they can do is go interstate fucking speeds.
Just like downtown Bamberg, inhospitable places where people won't want to be and street life will slowly die. With public transit, human drivers, and pedestrians out of the way, AV companies will demand an end to speed limits. They'll argue that these restrictions designed for human drivers are irrelevant for vehicles driven by a computer.
This will happen, right? If we go to all these autonomous cars on autonomous lanes where there's no other human drivers, they're going to argue that there shouldn't be a speed limit, right? The computer can adjust so fast, it knows how close the next car is, it's not going to make a wreck, and it's going to be able to follow with room to stop, so why should you have a speed limit? If we can go 90 today, that's fine. If we can go 60 tomorrow, that's fine.
This will result in a huge increase in vehicle throughput and will be considered a tremendous success. But when AVs are driven faster, pedestrian and cyclist fatalities will increase. AVs may have lightning-fast reaction times, but at high speed, the laws of physics win every time. Now, there will be outcries when someone is killed, and people will demand to slow down AVs to make them safer, but history will repeat itself again. Today, cars are a reality that we deal with just about everywhere, but when automobiles were first introduced, people did not want them in their cities. Cars were clogging up city streets and killing thousands of people every year. By the 1920s, the general public was very anti-car.
Here it is.
Several cities had plans to require speed governors on all cars entering.
All of regular people were anti-car. You can go back and look at the newspapers from them, and they're like, they're killing people. They're driving over people. My cousin was killed. This person was maimed. And that person, and the people just drive off. They move too fast through our towns where we're trying to do business. But the lobbyists came in and shut that shit down, dude.
The city, and they introduced high fines for dangerous driving. But the automobile industry was not about to go down without a fight. They fought to get car-friendly politicians elected and voted down any anti-car legislation. And did they do anything to make their cars less likely to kill people? No, of course not. They invented and spent millions promoting the concept of jaywalking to make it the fault of the victims for not looking where they were going.
The car lobby invented jaywalking. The car lobby invented jaywalking so they wouldn't be responsible for people being run down by fucking cars. The same way that McDonald's fucking attacked that little old lady that had third-degree burns on the inside of her thighs from 200-degree coffee.
Not looking where they were going. This changed cities almost overnight. Streets went from being a common place for everyone to a place exclusively for cars just a few decades later. The jaywalking of the 21st century will be the transponder that everyone will be required to wear when walking outside if they want to avoid being killed by a car. When someone is hit by an AV, people will ask, well, were they wearing their transponder? And the news will report that the victim was not wearing a LiDAR reflector. These faster cars will also create more pollution and noise.
Anyways, this whole video is good. Go watch it. It's over on Not Just Box. Not Just Box. I'll drop the link again, and then I'll just go ahead and wrap up. That way, if you want to go watch it, you don't have to remember it or whatever. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Elon Musk is fighting the Trump administration for some reason. Who knows? Vivek is out already. He was a DEI hire anyways, and we did away with those. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. If I don't have to stop and get another gallon of milk tomorrow, I'll be in here earlier tomorrow, and we can hang out and talk a little bit more. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you on the next one. Support the show while we're offline at Colbert.fund, please. We would greatly appreciate it. We got a lot going on right now. And we appreciate it if you guys could help out with the show. Thank you guys. Everybody have a good night, and we'll see you on the next one. Love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them.
Oh, go check out my 3D print over on TikTok.
The world you don't have
it's just a friendly reminder.
balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord.
When Trump says back the blue, he means back them into a corner, squeeze them to death, and hit them in the back with a fucking taser. That's what he means. Back the blue.
He's strapped to the shaft, beating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your Huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself
Good night, guys.
strapped to an F-16, high on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He's happy on his
Love you.